It was the first time that my work and my faith intersected. And I'll tell you that when that happens, you're never the same. And what it created was an ongoing pursuit of purposeful clients, looking for people who are making a positive difference in the world.
Welcome to the Sharing Passion and Purpose podcast, a weekly podcast providing career and creative inspiration to help you build a purpose-filled life. If you're interested in tapping into your creative potential, pursuing a career with passion, and building on your biggest and best resource, yourself, please join me on this path. I'm your host, Nancy Moore, and I want you to know that I'm on this journey with you. So let's get started. I am so honored to be talking to a friend of mine today. Her name is Carol Mathews, and Carol is so many things to so many people. For me, she's an encourager, a connector, and also I admire her creativity. Carol has an incredible talent for storytelling, so that coupled with her background in film has enabled her to produce multiple television series that have aired on ESPN, TBN, and the Family Channel. When she's not working on film projects, she's working with nonprofits and private businesses to define their mission, vision, and values. So that is critical and essential for every business, and she is very good at creating a synergy and unity for businesses and individuals at every level. During this visit, Carol shares more about her background and the thing that makes her passionate about what she's doing and how she has found fulfillment supporting others. Carol, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
I am so excited to be talking to you today.
Me too. I am excited to be here. Thanks.
Yeah. So it's interesting because you and I are part of a mastermind. There's 4 of us in a group. Mm-hmm. And we started this, was it probably about a year ago?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yep.
And from that has come a lot of great brainstorming, a lot of problem solving, a lot of great ideas, and we're each other's cheerleaders.
Yeah, a heavy dose of encouragement.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yes, and that's what we need a lot of times is that encouragement.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you wanna get that encouragement, affirmation that you're on the right path and that you're doing the right thing.
Yes, and we're good at kind of talking about a lot of different. We talk about work, but then we talk about other things as well, you know, and have formed a friendship, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I've wanted to have you on the podcast for a while, and I'm so thrilled that you said yes to me.
Honored to be here. Yeah.
This is awesome. So
thank you.
I would love to have people know more about you. So you are the founder of Hero Productions, and that encompasses a lot that we're going to get into. But if you could just kind of share a little bit more about yourself and Hero Productions.
My history is in film and video production. Hero Productions, like so much of my career, was founded when something else was supposed to happen and didn't. I say that I've often Mr. Magoo myself from one opportunity to the next, but I have always seemed to work in storytelling places and spaces, and started out in advertising and then moved over to video production, which was film and video was my major in college. And I've gone from working at production companies that have done really great programming in the faith space to working at a production company that did programming for ESPN for several years, and then started a new company with some partners and did a movie. And so now today, Hero Productions is all about storytelling, but not necessarily hung up on the medium. So we do a little bit of everything. We do podcasting and video. We help people with live events. And we help people with their books. So we're all about storytelling and helping people tell their story well.
Okay. Do you want to expand on that, on helping people with their books or about the podcasting? Do you want to share a little bit more about that?
Sure. Well, you know, at the age that I am at, after working for as long as I have in my career, I have found sort of arteries, for lack of a better word, of communities of people that are just putting out really positive things in the world. Mm-hmm. And so I love to shimmy up next to them over lunch. A meal involved is always good for me. And find out what they want help in reaching their audience with their messages. And I've had the privilege of working for people who are inspirational speakers, they're pastors, they are nonprofit leaders solving really big problems in other countries and in this country. And so if I can help them tell their story and reach the people they need to reach, whether it's to raise money or to actually reach the people they long to serve, I love to do it. And so sometimes they need help with it all, like I don't know where to start. I don't know how to approach this. Sometimes they have a live event and they know what they want to say, but they don't know how to say it or what to use at the live event to keep it dynamic. So those things are just the spaces I lean into. I do have a client who is a prolific writer. She just needs feedback, about, I don't think that's coming across the way you think it is. I think you could spend a little more time there. I think that's a huge thought. I think people need more time digesting it. And you know what, Nancy, I would tell you, if I had one gift in my career that I've leaned on the most, I would tell you, I really believe that I can tell you what the audience will and won't get, will and won't understand, will and won't be moved by. I feel that particular discernment or gift or whatever is, however you want to call it, I have leaned so hard on it and I have depended on it and I've gone on the mat for it. The screenplay for Home Run was round 6 because I knew that the audience would not be moved at that point. We're not there yet. Mm-hmm. So the medium doesn't really matter. If it's a podcast or a video or a live event, I am all about you reaching your audience with the message you need to accomplish the goals you have. And I love to sit across from you and imagine being that audience and then helping you do that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I know that you're very good at that. And that is very well said, the way that you have kind of described the way that you can see the other side of things.
And I'm very curious about people. And so I think that has enabled me to be in other people's shoes and say, does this speak to me? And would this matter to me? Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I love it.
And then just being old.
No, Carol, you are
helps.
not old. But I will say I did get the Mr. Magoo joke, and I don't know if...
No, I know.
Who else
Look
will,
it up.
but,
Google it.
Yeah. You got to Google it. Okay, so I really want to get into the mission, vision, and values that you do for companies and churches and a lot of other even individuals, because that is something I think is critical for any business. And it's surprising to me when people start businesses and a lot of times don't have that in place.
Yeah.
And so I wanted you to kind of speak to that and how you work with people in creating their mission statement, their vision, their values.
Yes. So, the storytelling is all fun and well. And yes, I want you to tell my story. Hero Productions, please come help us tell our story. But when we come into your world and we sit down, we start hearing about you and your organization, the biggest questions I have is, what do you do? Why do you do it? And how do you do it? Because if I'm going to tell your story, obviously those details are going to be a part of it. And really missional, being able to say what you're about, what you do, what your regular deliverable is, what your regular outcomes are as an organization. This is what we do on a regular basis. This is why people call us. Be able to say that well and to be able to express it without being overly clever so that even the most novice person in your arena would know, oh, okay, this is what they do, is very, very important. And there's a guy named Donald Miller who says, if you confuse, you lose. So being overly clever with your mission is not a win. So be clear about what you do and then the why. Why are you doing it? And if you define your why for anything else, do it for yourself and for the people that work for you. because work is work and it's hard, and there are days where you're not sure why you're in it. And if you have something larger than yourself that you're working towards, it puts gas in your tank, and it does the same for the people who work for you, because people want to be a part of a calling. People want to be a part of making a difference in the world. And so if you can figure out, yeah, this is my daily thing, this is why I do it, this is what I do, but the why is the thing that matters. It's the thing that's going to matter on my deathbed. Not how big the company got or how much money I made, but the difference I made because of my company being there. And, by the way, part of your difference could be providing employment for families. Part of your difference can be, raising people and helping them train in skill. It's not always you're solving some world problem as a company, but providing employment, mentoring younger employees, having really good culture. Those people spend a lot of time at work and they take all that stuff home. So believe me, finding a bigger purpose inside your daily work is not exclusive to a church or a nonprofit. It can be for anybody. So what you do every day is your mission. Why you do it is your vision. And then how do you make decisions is your values. And everyone operates with values, whether they articulate them or not. And the healthiest companies have a set of values that everyone's working from. Instead of Nancy working from hers and Carol working from hers, which would basically, we would get along just fine because we have lots of similar values. But in the end, the stronger organizations are clear about them, and they say everyone is going to be rowing this way. And once again, they build their people up, because when you have noble values, those are things that you're almost training your employees in, these noble values, and then they wind up taking it to other aspects of their life, which is a great thing. So who, what, and where. So I work with organizations helping them define it. And in order for me to get a really good message from that organization to their constituency, I have to have their mission and what they're about, their mission, vision, and values. So I always say mission first, message second. And then once we know what the message is, then we determine the media, which media is the best for that company.
Okay, that's interesting. I will say I feel like job seekers are very discerning now, and they are looking at companies and researching companies and looking into their mission and vision and values and seeing if they align. So in order to get the right people and attract the right people, it's important to have that well laid out and well defined.
Agreed. In fact, I say that it's often like a homing signal. It's like sending out a particular tonal quality to people who are like, that is exactly the type of company I want to work for. And what's so exciting is getting a new employee in who already aligns with your values. You're already steps ahead in terms of energy and unity, which is key for a successful company.
So if a company has, say, a mission, or an organization has a mission, but they're looking to scale. So maybe do you come in and redevelop their mission if they're looking toward?
Well, it could be a mission statement could need to be tweaked or shifted because of a change in the company. Maybe their regular deliverable has changed. Maybe their regular, what we do every day, has changed. And yes, I would. If the mission statement is well crafted, it doesn't change with the size. And I really am a strong proponent in your vision, mission, and values all kind of staying the same for as long as possible. Okay. They don't shift through the years. Goals shift, what you're trying to do this year or over the next 5 years. Even some of the things you might have, like hiring personalities that you're looking for, but goals and hiring strategies and objectives for a given amount of time, those should all be rooted in your mission, vision, and values. They should be coming out of those. But again, because mission is what you do regularly, if that changes, you might want to update it. But the why probably won't change. And a good vision statement should take a lifetime to achieve, if not 2 lifetimes. Maybe it's sort of that what's heaven for, it's way out of reach, but it is the direction we want to go. The founder of a 12-step group out of California once said, I want to eliminate the need for 12-step groups. That's quite a vision statement. Not going to attain it, right? But his whole goal is to eliminate generational addiction. And so good vision is very aspirational. Mission can shift if the company changes its path. And values, I would like to think that values stay the same regardless. If they're fluid, then they become about the personalities of the people who are in charge. And the minute you lose a really good person, then people wonder what the company is about. So you want those things to kind of be like bedrock that you're building on.
Okay, so in thinking about the development of the vision, the mission, the values, is that the order that they're developed in? Because the vision is kind of the overarching.
No, it's a workshop, and there's just clarity in an organization in different places. And sometimes I just recently worked with a real estate company, and they were very clear about their values before they were clear about anything else. And what's funny is you're like, well, how could they not be clear on their mission? Right? They sell houses. One of the things I say about a good mission statement is it not only says your regular deliverable and what you do every day in so many words, but if possible, it should have how you separate yourself from your competition, even if it's just a word or two. So the order in which you develop those statements in our workshop is really based on the clarity and the conversation. There's a lot of preliminary work before we even start, and I can usually tell what to tackle first. Now, having said that, mission is usually the easiest because people have less emotion attached to what they do, and they have more words attached to it. They know what they deliver, and so that's kind of fun. But yeah, there's no rules to that.
Okay. So you mentioned earlier, work is work, but you are so good at what you do. You just are, and you are so talented in so many areas. But I am wondering what you really, truly enjoy about the work that you do.
I think the thing I'm the most passionate about is I had a coach, a professional coach, help me put words around this. And I love, love, love to influence influencers. I love to be the person behind the great speaker, the great motivator, or the person with a large audience. And my career has afforded me, being in the room with some really well-known and impactful people. And so to be in the room with them while they're shaping a message or doing an event and help them have a greater impact, that's exciting. Especially because I've been fortunate enough to be picky enough to say I don't really want to work for anybody that's not doing something good. And so influencing influencers, however that looks. So I have one client who it looks like a lot of conversation in their office because she is the top of the organization and she just needs somebody to process with who doesn't have a dog in the hunt. For some people, it's fulfilling their vision. So, for example, Hope Rising Oklahoma is a vision of the First Lady of the state, and it's just executing all aspects of it. That's a great gift to me, and I just get total and complete joy. Her vision, her idea, and then pounding it out and making it a reality. That's so exciting.
I can tell you're lighting up even talking about working with them and what you're doing.
That's why I think I like our mastermind. I so enjoy that time because I love listening to what the other members of our little group are wanting and then just sitting there and processing with them and trying to figure out how to help make their ideas become a reality for their influence.
Yeah. As a side note, if people don't have a mastermind, they need to get one. They need to find one and create one. But we are all in different areas. Well, a couple of us, are similar, but
No, it's true.
it brings a lot to the table when you have these different perspectives from different areas too.
Oh, for sure. Very distinct audiences for all four of us, wouldn't you say?
Yep, I agree. So, one of the other things that I admire about you is your strong faith. And so I wanted to touch on that. I wanted to have you speak to how that has played into your business.
I think one of the greatest events in my career path, and once again, I would love to tell you it was strategic on my part, but it was simply providential, which is I went to work for a company named Impact Productions, and it was a life-changing, at the time I had no idea, but I had at that time worked for Saatchi & Saatchi, which is an international advertising agency. I'd worked for a regional agency, Bernstein Rain. I was young in my career, but I said yes to working at Impact, and it was the first time that I was working on accounts that I cared about the outcome. I cared about who they reached, and it was a faith-based production organization. And for the first time, even though I was a young girl who cared very much about my faith, it was the first time that my work and my faith intersected. And I'll tell you that when that happens, you're never the same. And what it created was an ongoing pursuit of purposeful clients, looking for people who are making a positive difference in the world. I have a client that's got an orphanage in Ghana, and I've got a client that's helping women coming out of incarceration transition into a productive, independent life here. I had a client who were helping homeless people get safe housing, reliable transportation, and meaningful work. I mean, they were lifting huge boulders, and I was getting to sit next to them and help them talk about themselves. I had the easiest job always. I still do. So once you taste people's purpose, both with their faith, but also when you align with things that align with your faith, there's a centering that creates so much energy and so much creativity. And what happens is you want it again and again and again. And I'm a big believer that you get what you're looking for. And I never had the sense to look for money. I was always looking for people doing amazing things and always working within their financial constraints. And so it's just been a joy. It's been a joy. And then let me tell you this, as a woman of faith, working with organizations, some with great faith, some just doing great things, how much I have been inspired and grown in my own faith because of that.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, because they're living it. They're doing it. They're doing the things that in my faith are important to God. You know, when you're working with the homeless and you're helping women in prison, that's just close to the heart of God. And then one last thing I have to say is when it came time and I said yes to doing a movie, which ironically, I said yes to the same man I went to work for years and years before at Impact Production. Okay. And the irony was saying yes to that, I wasn't about to say yes to a feature film that didn't matter and didn't align 100% with my faith. You know, because it's just not worth it. It's so much work. I couldn't do it for any other reason. Yeah. And back to mission, vision, and values. I did mission, vision, values for that movie. And it was the vision of that movie that kept me going because it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my whole career, you know? So faith, it not only informs what I do, but it informed who I sought to serve. And then conversely, faith was built up by the people I served. I learned and grew having been in the room with some of those amazing people.
Yeah, that's incredible that you were able to glean so much and, you know, have that come back to you too, because I'm sure you are pouring in a lot.
Well, you know, so this is my favorite thing to say because I talk about stories and storytelling all the time. And we are all a product of the stories that we immerse ourselves in. And prior to working around and in the faith-based and nonprofit and the sort of aspirational clients before that, I was soaking in a narrative not unlike a great majority of people. We might have our faith times during the week where we're thinking about God, or we're going to church, or we're doing those things. But then work, I was working with all kinds of people in different walks of life, and they had their own stories and their own narratives that they were telling themselves and others and me. And we are a product of the stories that we immerse ourselves in. And culture is downstream from story. So stories that we listen to and listen to and listen to affect what we believe. And every decision we make, from the glass of water we drink to the chair we're sitting in, is rooted in being told a story. That the chair would hold us, that water is good for us, that it quenches thirst. Every decision we make, where we live, what school we go to, what we major in, is rooted in a story that we have come to believe. Mm-hmm. And so if our decisions are rooted in story, culture is nothing but the collection of people's words and actions. Our culture is nothing, whether it's the culture of your home, culture of your office, culture of a city or a country or a generation. Culture is nothing but the whole sum total of people's actions and words. That's it. I would venture to say your belief doesn't really affect culture, except it affects your actions. So the stories you tell affect what you believe. What you believe affects what you do and how you behave and how you speak. And how you speak, how you behave affects the culture. And I want to be around people that are changing our culture for good. Mm-hmm. Doing good things. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if I can help you in the narrative that you're immersed in, or if I can help you find people so that they can hear your story and change how they believe. And I don't mean just, do you believe in Jesus or not? I'm talking about beliefs about the world, about themselves. Mm-hmm. I mean, these women coming out of prison, they need to be told a new story about them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's possible for their life. Mm-hmm. And we're changing what they believe about themselves and what they believe about the world around them. And will we judge them? And will we accept them? And will we believe in them? And then that's changing how they behave. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. And it's changing our culture. Because in this organization that I serve, they don't go back. It's called Inside Out. And they don't go back to prison because they have really had a transformational change. But it all started with the story they were told. Mm-hmm. And I get to help them tell that story. That's how that all kind of comes around.
Okay, that's incredible. Yeah, I love hearing that. I love it. Okay, so my theme in 2023 is living purposefully. And I would love to have you kind of share how you feel like you are living purposefully.
Well, as I've said, I'm trying to live into my own belief that I want to influence influencers. So I'm looking for those men and women in organizations that are doing good work in the world. And purpose is a big word. There's purpose in your big picture, and then there's purpose in your activity, your tasks. So I'm trying to be more purposeful about learning and growing in my career. I'm trying to be more purposeful about where I'm spending my social time. Mm-hmm. Where am I spending my time? Who am I spending my time with? And then the other purpose is just how am I going to be sustainable in it? So taking care of myself and taking care of my closest relationships like my family. And that's what keeps you going. Mm-hmm. Your faith, your family, and your physical body. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So purpose in the tasks at hand, but purpose in the big picture. Mission, vision, values. That really is purpose.
Mm-hmm. So let people know where they can find you.
It's heroproductions.com. People can see some of my work on our YouTube channel, which is Hero Productions. And I am Carol, Carol, at heroproductions.com.
Okay. I love it because this is one of your taglines. I think clarity is critical. And it is. And I know that you are doing great work helping a lot of people to clarify what they're doing with their businesses. Anyway, I appreciate you very much.
Thank you, Nancy. This was a pleasure.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap on this week's episode. I want to thank you for listening to the Sharing Passion and Purpose podcast. It means the world to me, and I'd love to connect with you. Please follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at Sharing Passion and Purpose, and Twitter at Passion Sharing. Also, if you like this podcast, it would mean a lot to me for you to subscribe, rate, and review it. And as always, all my show notes will be available on my website, sharingpassionandpurpose.com.